Hello, Year 5. Welcome to Thursday's English. Today, our target is I can recognize how the author uses sentence structures for effect. And you should have read chapter 2 before starting this PowerPoint. So if you haven't, you must make sure that's read because we are going to start by reading chapter 3. Chapter 3 Ambushed. The thing about Spud Harper was that he never let anything go. Any time he had a grudge, no matter how small, he'd carry it around for as long as it took to get even. As long as it took. Daniel knew this. Everyone did. He might have escaped Spud once, ducking into the Nowhere Emporium, but he'd been looking over his shoulder ever since. Daniel didn't leave St. Catherine's at all over the next few days. Every time he was alone in a corridor or turning a corner in the playground, he expected Spud to jump out at him. It didn't happen. Not that way. Monday went by. Nothing. Then Tuesday. Wednesday was the same. And the longer it dragged on, the more it seemed certain that Spud's revenge would be truly horrible when it arrived. Thursday. The last Thursday of every month at St. Catherine's was fire drill day. It happened right after lunch. You could set your watch by it. When Daniel's class sat down at their desks after the break, their teacher, Mr. Pym, did not even bother telling them to open their textbooks. Sure enough, a few minutes later the air was split by the shrill of the alarm, and the class filed out, merging in the main corridor with several other classes. Daniel's stomach sank to somewhere around his knees as he felt someone huge appear at his side. Smitty, the biggest boy in Spud's gang, smiled down at him. "Don't say a word, wee man, or I'll knock you out." He grabbed Daniel by the arms while the teachers were focused on getting the kids outside and bundled him across the corridor to the gym hall. Spud was waiting in the centre of the hall. Smitty dragged Daniel towards him and held him in front of Spud, who stuck his freckled face right in Daniel's. "Thought I forgot about you, pal," he said. "Thought I was gonna let you off with what you did." Daniel said nothing. He stared at Spud, hatred burning in his veins. "Here's what's gonna happen," said Spud. "You're gonna steal back all the stuff it took me so long to get from the other kids. And if you don't, I'm gonna smack you once for every single thing you cost me. That's a lot of punches, Daniel." Daniel stared around the gym hall. The door back to the corridor was blocked by another of Spud's gang, playing lookout. No escape that way. But the back door, the one behind the stage. Daniel brought his foot down as hard as he could on top of Smitty's. He heard the big guy howl in pain, felt the grip of his huge arms soften. Daniel managed to squirm away, taking off towards the back of the hall. "Hey, get back here!" Daniel ran up the stairs to the stage. He ducked through the curtain, the sound of Spud's trainers on the boards just behind him, down another set of steps and out to a narrow corridor. "Not this time, Danny boy," yelled Spud. "You're getting it." Daniel ploughed on, his feet barely touching the floor as he ran to the end of the corridor and burst through a fire exit to the car park at the back of St. Catherine's. Then he was away through the gate to the streets beyond, pushing past office workers who were out making the most of the Glasgow sunshine during their lunch breaks. Daniel glanced over his shoulder, kicked into another gear, and tore through a pedestrian courtyard between two office buildings, firing out the other side like a bullet. "Daniel!" Spud shouted. "Stop! You're gonna get—" The tail of Spud's sentence was cut off by the blast of a car horn, and Daniel realised, in one of those strange instances when time seems to slow down, that he'd run out onto a road. He heard the screech of tyres, saw the car coming towards him head on, caught the driver's horrified gaze behind the windscreen. He knew it was too late to stop, knew he was not fast enough to keep going. There was no doubt in his mind that he was going to die in the street. A flash of silver in the corner of his eye. Someone pressed the play button on the world. Everything screamed back to life. Before the car could hit him, something else did, knocking him sideways. He landed heavily and stared up through blurred eyes at the cloudless sky. He was aware of someone standing over him, a person in a grey suit. Whoever it was, they were talking to him, but the voice was very far away. The only thing Daniel wanted to do was to go to sleep. The world around him was lost to blackness. And we've got a quick quiz. So, the quick quiz, when did they have the fire drill day? What was the name of their teacher? Why has the author wrote as long as it took, like this? What do you think happened when Daniel heard the car horn? And what could the flash of silver be? So you could just make some quick notes. Normally we don't write these down, but with it being English, I would quite like you to just jot down what you think for your quick quiz today. So, our target was recognising how the author uses sentence structure for effect. So we are going to draw a table like this in our books, and you can see it's labelled with examples. I've given you 4 different sentences from this part of the book. I would like you to tell me what type of sentence they are. And we'll keep type of sentence quite simple. You can either choose short, long, or medium. So you need to find those examples in the text and decide whether they are short sentences, long, or medium. You are then going to tell me the level of detail. So how detailed is that sentence? How much detail is it telling you? You can give me a score out of 10. Okay? And then, as a challenge, I would like you to write a reason of why the authors used that type of sentence. So the first one, Monday went by, nothing. Then Tuesday, and you can find that part in the text. What type of sentence is that? Monday went by, nothing. I would say that's short. Level of detail? 1 out of 10. Not that much detail, is it? And the reason could be to show how slow the days are going by and how he's scared. Okay? On the next slide, I've got an example of a child who's already completed this, so you can see how it needs to be laid out. And as I always say, drop me an email if you need anything, and I'm looking forward to picking your books up tomorrow to have a look at what you've done.